Under the cover of darkness off the coast of Novorossiysk, 3 Mura V7 unmanned surface vessels sliced through the Black Sea in near total silence. No radio chatter, no radar signature, not a single alert from Russian maritime sensors. They moved like ghosts undetected, unseen, carrying a weapon Russia never expected. Their target was nothing less than the final operational pillar of Russian air control in the western Black Sea. The stakes could not have been higher. 18 hours earlier, inside a covert hangar outside Odessa, the same 3 Mura V7 units designated Units 1, 2, and 3 underwent final mission checks under the supervision of Group 13 of Ukraine's Defense Intelligence Directorate. Every subsystem was inspected and recalibrated. Inertial navigation, satellite guidance, infrared sensors, and secure remote control links. Mounted on launch rails were 4 AIM-9M Sidewinder missiles, each one tested, armed, and locked in place. This was not an exercise. This was a first-of-its-kind combat operation. The mission objective was brutally precise: neutralize the remaining two Russian Su-30SM fighter jets conducting low-altitude patrols near international waters off Novorossiysk. These aircraft were the crown jewels of Russia's Black Sea air superiority network, responsible for early detection and long-range destruction of Ukrainian UAVs and naval drones. Any unidentified contact approaching within 3 minutes triggered an immediate attack. For months, Ukraine had studied this system and engineered a countermeasure no one had imagined: surface drones armed with air-to-air missiles. At 12:01 a.m. on May 2, 2025, Mura V7 Unit 3, the mission's command and communications hub, quietly slipped out of the Netter estuary, a concealed waterway south of Odessa. Its diesel engine ran at minimal RPM, producing less than 45 decibels of noise, comparable to a ceiling fan in a closed room. Darkness and silence were its allies. AI-powered optical sensors scanned the horizon in autonomous mode, updating object recognition every 2 seconds. A long-range low-band antenna maintained secure communication with the Odessa command center at distances exceeding 90 miles, while an onboard encrypted relay node functioned like a miniature surface satellite maintaining connectivity in under Russian jamming. An advanced IFF system prevented friendly fire incidents and designated Unit 3 as the formation leader. Minutes later, Units 1 and 2 were launched in sequence. The 3 vessels formed a triangular formation, spaced 1,000 to 1,200 feet apart, pushing east toward their target zone. Units 1 and 2 each carried to AIM-9M Sidewinders short-range, heat-seeking missiles designed to lock onto jet engine exhaust. Navigation relied on a triple-layered system: encrypted optical links, inertial guidance, and military-grade GPS, all continuously monitored from Odessa. These were not kamikaze drones. They were mobile, invisible missile platforms, capable of threatening Russian fighter aircraft from the sea. For the next 4 hours, the USVS cruised at just 8 to 9 knots, minimizing radar exposure while conserving fuel. Their digital charts avoided commercial shipping lanes, floating radar stations, and sonar-controlled zones. Internal coordination relied on short-range infrared laser links, with Unit 3 acting as the mission's nervous system. At 5:12 a.m., after more than 5 hours of undetected movement, the Mura V7 south-crossed into international waters and advanced toward the south-eastern patrol sector off Novorossiysk, an area identified by Russia, a primary UAV interception belt. Su-30SM fighters routinely patrolled this zone at altitudes between 1,600 and 3,300 feet, orbiting floating radar platforms and coastal command posts. Their task was simple: intercept and destroy Ukrainian drones before they could reach strategic targets. But at dawn on May 2nd, those fighters encountered something entirely new. Low-profile unmanned surface vessels, nearly invisible to radar, armed with Sidewinder missiles originally designed to destroy supersonic jets. At 6:03 a.m., Russian air defense radar detected the small surface contacts, moving slowly roughly 31 miles off the Novorossiysk coastline. They were classified as harmless naval drones. What Russian operators didn't see was the third vessel. Unit 3 maintained a 1,500-foot offset, concealed by sea curvature and radar clutter, periodically going silent to avoid detection. From the shadows, it coordinated targeting, navigation, and encrypted command links the eyes, ears, and brain of the operation. Less than 2 minutes after detection, two Su-30SM fighters were scrambled from Crimea. Vectors were set southeast. Initial altitude, 4,000 feet, ideal for low-level interception using their 30 mm GSH-31 cannons, but Ukraine had anticipated every move. The surface drones ahead were not passive targets, they were armed, locked on, and waiting. Each AIM-9M Sidewinder weighed more than 187 pounds, carrying a 20.7-pound blast fragmentation war, had optimized for low-altitude engagements below 5,000 feet. Its infrared seeker was fine-tuned to detect engine heat in poor morning visibility above rough seas. Every parameter had been engineered to pull the Su-30SM directly into the missile's kill zone. At 6:07 a.m., Mura V7 Unit 1 altered course by just 3 degrees to starboard. On the Odessa command display, the adjustment appeared trivial. In reality, it was a precision maneuver corridor deflection tactic designed to force the lead Su-30 into the perfect intercept geometry. Seconds later, the fighter closed to 4.2 miles. The Sidewinder's infrared seeker locked onto the blazing exhaust of the AL-31FP engines as the jet pushed into full afterburner. The fire command was issued. The missile ignited in a burst of white flame, leaping off the sea surface and accelerating to over 2,460 feet per second. Its trajectory was exact, aimed at the left engine nacelle of Su-30SM, tail number O for red. Thermal lock held steady. The Russian pilot banked hard left, likely reacting to a heat seeker warning, but it was already too late. At 6 hours 7 minutes and 22 seconds a.m., the missile struck. A violent explosion tore through the aircraft. The left engine disintegrated under a plasma shockwave, sending the fighter into an uncontrollable flat spin. Avionics failed instantly. The co-pilot ejected and was later rescued by a nearby civilian vessel. The pilot did not survive. The wreckage slammed into the waters west of Novorossiysk, throwing a shockwave across nearly 330 feet of sea surface. Just 18 seconds later, the second Su-30SM tail number 16 Blue reacted instinctively. The pilot dropped altitude to 3,000 feet, banking into a textbook pursuit curve to engage what he believed was a vulnerable surface drone. Instead, he flew directly into the trap. Mura V7 unit surged forward, closing the distance. Thermal sensors confirmed the fighter had entered engagement range. The fire order was transmitted. Another AIM-9M tore through the morning haze and struck the aircraft at the junction between the fuel bay and avionics compartment. The detonation generated localized pressure exceeding 40 psi, violently destabilizing the jet and pitching it into a steep, unrecoverable dive. Neither pilot ejected in time. Mission complete. All 3 Mura V7 units transmitted final imagery and coordinates back to Odessa. Moments later, self-destruct protocols activated, wiping control systems and shattering the hulls to prevent recovery or reverse engineering. Less than 9 minutes after entering international waters, 3 unmanned vessels, costing under $300,000 combined, had delivered a strategic shock unlike anything seen in modern naval or aerial warfare. For the first time, to high-value Su-30SM fighters, each worth hundreds of millions of dollars, had been destroyed by missiles launched from sea-based drones, less than 31 miles from Russian territory. Ground-based air defenses never reacted. The Black Sea Fleet's low-altitude patrol layer was breached. A threat vector once dismissed as impossible had proven lethal. Footage of the Su-30s spiraling out of control flooded military telegram channels within hours. The psychological impact was immediate. Russia suspended all Su-30 patrols in the western Black Sea for over 2 weeks. The loss of one crew and the dramatic rescue of the second aircraft's co-pilot forced a rapid reassessment of Russia's coastal defense posture. Floating barriers, steel nets, and sonar arrays were rushed into place at Novorossiysk Bay. Low-altitude manned patrols were replaced by medium-range radar coverage and UAV surveillance. Ukraine's strike was more than tactical, it was doctrinal. The integration of surface drones, heat-seeking missiles, and advanced deception shattered Russia's long-standing assumption of uncontested air dominance over the Black Sea. The loss of two Su-30s opened a critical gap in low-altitude surveillance one Ukraine would exploit in follow-on operations without challenging air superiority head-on. This mission marked the dawn of a new era. Surface-launched drones, once considered marginal, had proven capable of destroying multi-role fighter aircraft in seconds. The implications rippled through Russian naval command and far beyond. For Ukraine, it was both a technological demonstration and a psychological victory, a clear message that control of the Black Sea's skies could no longer be taken for granted. In the waters off Novorossiysk, 3 Mura V7 South rewrote the rulebook. They proved that stealthy, cost-effective unmanned platforms could neutralize high-value aerial assets, bypass traditional defenses, and expose vulnerabilities in systems once thought impenetrable. This was no longer theoretical warfare. It was reality unfolding in real time. And in the quiet darkness of that early morning, the Black Sea witnessed the birth of a new military paradigm where a handful of intelligent, silent drones could challenge the skies, alter the balance of power, and force the world's largest fleets to rethink everything they knew about modern war.